Like.
Okay, hi guys, I think I'm live now. If everything is good, if you can see me and hear me, please do let me know in the chat. So I just wanted to discuss how we did the scaling. I think the percentile predictor is live now. The score calculator, you can actually go there, you can upload your response sheet, and the percentile that you'll get. Is there a lag, guys? I think there is some lag. If there is a lag, let me know. If there's no lag, if everything is good, that's fine. మా మ్యాన్ ఇష్యూ ఉంటే నాకు ఇమీడియట్గా చెప్పాను. నా వైఫై గురించి ఐమ్ వరీడ్. నాకు ఫోన్లో కనిపించట్లేదు సరిగ్గా. Okay, I know we are live. Guys, if everything is good, please do message in the chat that we are live. Okay, నాకు ఇదైతే బాగానే ఉంది మామ, నేనైతే మాట్లాడేస్తూ ఉంటాను. ఓకే.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think it is all good. So basically, guys, we have more than 60,000 people who have uploaded their response sheet on our Cracku calculator. And we have done a lot of analysis to give out the best possible, most accurate predictions. This is to the best of our abilities. So I can discuss what exactly we have done so that you also will get a good understanding of what we have done. So the 60,000 we have split across all the three slots, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Now, in all the three slots, there is a formula that is given according to which the scaling actually happens. We have used that formula to actually calculate the normalized score. So to do that, we had to make some assumptions about what is the number of people who are in the top 0.1 percentile who have uploaded their response sheets on Cracku. But I think we have made some logical assumptions. So the normalization, I think, should be fairly accurate because we got a lot of data. The assumptions that we had to make were not a lot. We had to make one or two assumptions, but they were normal logical assumptions that we made based basically on how many of those 0.1 percentile people have actually uploaded their response sheets on Cracku. Once we make that assumption, we can actually get the normalization. So the normalization, I think we will be fairly accurate, the scaling. So in general, what we have seen across the three slots was that this year, there is no one slot which is much more difficult than every other slot. Other than, I think, slot 2 VRC to an extent, I think is the most difficult VRC section. But it is not extremely difficult. I think it is definitely out of the three slots, you can argue that it is the most difficult. The data also is showing that. If you see people who have scored more than 40 in VRC across the three slots, you will find out that the least have been in slot 2. And in general, I think if you put any such number, how many people scored above 30, how many people scored above 35, how many scored above 40, all of these, I think slot 2 in VRC has consistently shown that it is more difficult than the remaining two. But every other, and it also is not very, very difficult. In the previous years, I've seen some of the slots, the difficulty level across the slots, some of the sections to vary quite a lot. This year, I think that was not the case. This year, I think all the three slots, the difficulty level is more or less equal, except in slot 2 VRC. That is the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing, I think some of the people from slot 3 would not like it, is that in slot 3, LRDI, I think, has been slightly more easier than slot 1 and slot 2. So I think there will be some scaling down of slot 3 LRDI. In my opinion, I think because I think most people got at least one set correct in slot 3. But that is not the case in probably slot 1 and slot 2. And again, this is just what the numbers are talking. It is not what I'm saying. The numbers are actually saying that. Coming to quant, I think all the three slots were fairly equal. All of them scored much lesser than last year. But across the different slots, I don't think there was a lot of variation. Slot 3 quant, I think, is slightly tougher than slot 1 and slot 2. But the numbers say that the difference is not quite a lot. I'm just looking at the numbers based on the means and the medians and the standard deviation. So slot 3 quant will be slightly scaled up, but not by a lot. This is across the three slots. But in general, the overall impression I got was that all the three slots, the difficulty level across all the three sections was more or less uniform. This is one thing that we can say. Coming to the predictions, we have basically done the normalization. Once the normalization using the formula that was given. So again, as I was saying, because we just followed their methodology, I don't think there will be a lot of variation with respect to the normalization. What a normalized code that you'll see on the day of the results, I think will be very close to what a normalized code actually is. We have a lot of data. We use just the formulas that they are going to use later. So the scaling up and scaling down, I don't think you'll see a lot of difference. This is what I wanted to say with respect to scaling. With respect to percentiles, I'll continue, but Mama, you want to say something?
Just 1 second. Okay, so we got somewhere around 58,000, somewhere close to 60,000, and this analysis was done around for 52,000 entries, right? And same thing. So most people right after the exam told that slot 3 quant was very difficult, but the numbers actually don't say that, because I think most of the people have already for slot 3 have already gotten the news that the quant is going to be very tough, and I think because of that they have actually made a strategy on how to tackle the quant for slot 3, right? So most people went in saying that I will just solve 8 questions, 10 questions from quant, I won't target 15, 20 questions in quant. That is okay. So these scores that we are getting in quant slot 3 are actually reflecting the strategy, the change in strategy from slot 1 to slot 3. So I had slot 1, and for me the quant was actually like a shocking factor, right? So you go in assuming that you'll be able to do 22 questions, but you end up doing 13 questions. That itself is a very shocking factor. But for slot 3 it was not the case, and I think the scores are reflecting the same for the slot 3. But if you see slot 1 or slot 3 individually as a paper, the toughness level of slot 3 was slightly higher than the toughness level of slot 1. That even I felt when I saw the questions from the slot 3. And
yeah, I think what Srikanth is saying is probably true. I think the question level, individual question level of slot 3 probably was difficult, quant, but you have to give the fact that people were better prepared. They're actually anticipating that the paper will be difficult. So I think they were able to handle it better. Okay, now coming to, you want to show the PPT, Srikanth?
Yeah. Raw scores versus, yeah, you can go with this one.
So this is basically the raw score versus the scale score. You can see in VRC, the variation is not a lot. The raw score to scale score, I think, is roughly similar. Maybe it is being increased around, say, half a mark or 1 mark. In slot 3 VRC, again, it is going down by around, say, 1 mark or 2 marks. The real jump is coming in slot 2 VRC, but that also it will impact only for people who have done very well. I think people who have done reasonably well, the scaling in VRC will not be quite a lot. Now, some people have doubts about how scaling actually works. The way the formula actually works is, in each of the slot, for each of the section, they calculate the mean and they calculate the standard deviation. For example, in slot 2 VRC, for example, the mean of all the people who have taken the examination is, say, 20 marks. And the standard deviation is, say, 10 marks. So the total is of mean plus standard deviation is 30 marks. So anybody who scores 30 marks exactly, which is equal to the mean plus standard deviation, for them there will be no scaling or very little scaling. But as you score higher and higher, that is, if you are outperforming the mean, the added bonus of the scaling factor will be more and more. So if the mean plus standard deviation is, say, 30, and you scored exactly 30, there will not be a lot of variation in your raw to scale score. But say if the mean plus standard deviation is 30 and you did very well, you are one of the toppers, you scored 40. Then your scale score will probably be like it is being shown, it will be 44, where you're getting plus 4. Similarly, if you are performing poorly, suppose the mean plus standard deviation is, say, around 30, and you did very poorly, you scored only 5 marks. Then you will even actually be penalized. So instead of 5, people who have scored lesser than this, they will actually get maybe, say, 3 marks or 2 marks. So if you are doing well in this kind of a sectional, you will get a lot of added bonus. If you are doing poorly, you will actually be penalized. This is exactly what happened in slot 2 VRC. And again, the reason I was saying that across all the 3 slots, the normalization factor will not work a lot is this will impact only people who have done very well in slot VRC. Some have scored 30, which itself is a very good score. They will get plus 2 marks, which is okay. But somebody who has scored 20, I think, which is like the probably normal score that you would expect most of the people to get, the normalization is only just, say, 0.5. So this is the reason I was saying that normalization doesn't seem to play a lot of role in all the 3 slots as compared to the earlier years. Because in the earlier years, normalization would be much more across the different slots because the difficulty level varied quite a lot. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, this is with respect to DLR. I think DLR for slot 1 probably will be slightly going up. For slot 2, I think it was basically the mean. It was not very, very difficult. For slot 3, it definitely come down a little because in slot 3 DLR, I have noticed that many people have been able to get 1 set correct. which brought down the which basically will impact their scores. So their scores will be scaled down with respect to DLR. So in DLR, slot 1 will be slightly scaled up by around say 1 or 2 marks. Slot 2 will not change a lot. For slot 3, I think it will come down by around 1 or 2 marks. Let us look at the next one, slot 3. Sorry, quant. Yeah, for quant, I think slot 1, again, surprisingly, it didn't, initially when the news came to me that slot 1 is very difficult, I thought there will be double whammy, because first of all, the paper is difficult. Second, it is the first time it is happening. So because of the shock level also, I expected slot 1 quant to go up quite a lot. But that didn't happen because I think the remaining sections were getting progressively more difficult, probably quant. Because of which people were not able to score well. Even though they were better prepared, they were expecting the paper to be tough. For whatever reason, they were not able to do very well in slot 2 and slot 3. So the normalization again across the 3 slots for quant was not quite a lot. Now let us look at some of the percentiles.
Okay, so we'll update the percent. So maybe I can speak on the percentiles, right?
Yeah, you can speak on that, sir.
Good. So we have done the percentage for the scale score and for the percentile fitting, right? So we generally expect that the distribution follows the normalized curve. So that is how we do the fitting. And for quant, right? So 99.9% is around 48 marks. That these are all the scale scores, and 99% is around 37 marks, and 95 is around 28 marks, 28.2 marks.
Okay, can you put
Actually,
up the percentage?
Can take the question. I'll just update the slide with the latest percentile so that we'll just we can just have a look.
Yeah, is there any doubts or any questions? I'm sorry guys, I was not able to take the questions. Let's look at the questions now. Seshendra was asking, according to the stats, VRC for slot 2 was tough, but for slot 2 VRC after normalization, scores are decreasing. I think the scores will decrease only when somebody has done poorly. Somebody who has done well, somebody who has scored more than the mean would definitely get, their scale scores will be higher. Somebody who has scored around the mean, around the average, I think they will not be impacted a lot by the normalization. But somebody who has performed poorly, that is somebody who has done worse than the mean, I think then their scores will decrease. This is exactly how the formula works. So we can't really do much about it. So the way the formula works is somebody who has done well, they'll gain a lot from normalization. Somebody who has done poorly, within their respective slot. Within their respective slot, if you have underperformed, you'll actually be penalized. Okay guys, there are around 600 people who are watching us live. Please do like the stream. Let me get to at least 250 likes. And I'll also ask, see guys, if you're giving me the scores, how much will it be scaled up and scaled down? You can please use the calculator. That is a lot more efficient, lot more accurate. So just go to the Cracku score calculator, just upload your response sheet, you'll get the normalized score, you'll get the rank, you'll get a lot more data there. If it is anything other than that, what score can you expect? 95% I'll say, dude, don't spam, man. I won't answer it. Okay. Percentiles shown are accurate, Rahul Sharma. So with respect to the percentiles, what I've done after that is very simple. I've looked at the VRC scores. I've looked at the VRC scores to percentile last year, and based on it, based on the difficulty level, I have assumed a particular VRC number that I have assumed how much will the percentile be, looking at all the data, which I think will be fairly accurate because I've looked at the last few years also. I've done this earlier also. I've looked at the papers. So I've assumed what the percentiles will be for VRC, and based on the 60,000 data points that we have, I have calculated with decent amount of accuracy for DLR and quant. So with respect to the percentiles, I would say it will be fairly accurate. The trend at least will be definitely there. I feel the normalization will be definitely on point. It will be very, very accurate, the normalization, because we have just used the formula that they have. So I'm very confident of the normalization. Percentiles, we can't really say much. Percentiles, again, I think will be decently accurate, but it also depends on what are the kind of people who have uploaded the response sheet on our website. Because if you think about it, there are 3 lakh people who have taken the exam. 60,000 people have uploaded their response sheets on our website. Now, across the 60,000, are the most, I would assume that people who have done well would upload their response sheet on our portal. We have taken that into account. Based on the experience that we have also taken into account who are the people who are more likely to actually upload their response sheet. And based on it, we have given the percentile prediction, which I think will be accurate, but again, it is also possible that it will go slightly wrong. I won't expect it to go very wrong because the data itself is so large that it is difficult for us to mess up. But you can see some changes. It won't be completely on point if you are predicting that you will get, say, 80 percentile, 80.51. It is possible that we might be off by, say, 1 or 2 percentiles. It won't suddenly change that from 80, somebody will get, say, 60 percentile. That won't happen. So this is basically with respect to the percentiles. I think it will be fairly accurate, especially when you are looking at the percentiles above 70%. I think above 70%, our percentiles will be fairly accurate. Below 70%, the problem is that percentile change quite a lot with 1 mark. Somebody who has scored, say, 10 marks in verbal and 11 marks in verbal, if you are seeing the percentile change, it will be massive. But that 1 mark difference, when somebody has scored above 70 percentile, will be much less. So that is the reason I was saying that when your percentile is above 70, I think our percentile predictor will be fairly accurate. Again, you can have plus or minus 2 percentile, but otherwise it should be fairly on point. But somebody who has scored less than 70 percentile, I think can see a variation from what we are predicting. Again, this is with the best of our ability. You should take it obviously with a pinch of salt. But I feel confident. I feel that our numbers will be definitely fairly accurate, especially for above 70 percentiles. This is what I was saying. If you want to add anything, Srikanth.
Yeah, I'm just updating the percentile slide. So give me 2 minutes. And I think we can discuss on like some of the queries that students have, like, so how can we predict percentiles based on, let's say, when we got only 22,000 entries, when there are like 2.8 lakh students writing the exam, or when we have this year 50,000 entries.
So what I expect is across the 3 slots, the kind of people who would upload their response sheets, I think will be uniform. People who have done slightly well across the 3 slots would upload it. So if you're comparing slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, the kind of people who would upload, I think will be uniform. So across the 3 slots, I'm very confident of the normalization because just by the data, and if I'm trying to compare the relative difficulty level of all the across the 3 slots of all the 3 sections, I think because of the data and because of the symmetry of randomness, where there are so many people across the 3 slots, I would think the data itself will be able to predict which slot and which section is more difficult, which slot and which section is not as difficult, at least based on the numbers. So based on it, I'm very confident of the normalization. I don't think normalization will change a lot. I would be very surprised if the normalized marks change a lot. I would actually think it will be much more accurate than what people are expecting, the normalization. The percentiles, on the other hand, again, I think we have done a good job. The percentiles, what we have basically done is we have looked at the data of last year, last couple of years, and how much is the score to percentile. And based on how it is affecting across the 3 different sections, we have given a prediction based on, again, the data. Again, I think it is possible that we can go wrong. There is, because like people are saying there are 60,000 people who have uploaded their response sheets on our website and 3 lakh people have taken the examination. It is possible that the top 60,000 people have uploaded their response sheet on our website. But clearly that can't happen, right? Most likely that is not the case. Most likely the response sheets that have been uploaded, some people who have done well will upload, some people who have not done well will upload. But I do agree that most people who have uploaded probably are expecting a good score. So I think the bias will definitely be there amongst people who have uploaded their response sheets who have done well. That I think is possible. But I think we have taken care of that. We have accounted for it and we have used some method. It is a fairly complex method to actually get to the percentiles, which again I think will be fairly accurate, but it's difficult to explain all of that in a stream. Okay guys, I'll take a couple of more questions. Cracku Gyanendra Chandra Tiwari is saying, is VRC, Quant and DLR score gem of 30 months, is there any chance of baby IIMs and IITs? I think it is possible. Please use the percentile predictor so that you get a much more accurate information, because I would want details about your all the work experience, okay, whether you're an engineer, non-engineer, all of these things. So anybody who has any doubts with respect to the shortlist that they'll get, please use the percentile predictor that we have. I'll post the link to it in our stream, in our chat. Go through it and okay, I think Percentiles, you want to discuss, Shrikant, percentiles?
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so percentiles, right? So straight away, these percentiles are based on the scale score. We're not listing on like what percentile students will get on, let's say from slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. So these percents are based on the scale scores, right? So we have 99.9 percentile at around 48 for verbal and 99 percentile around 37 for verbal. These are scale scores, right? And 95 at 28 and 90 at 22.85. And these are so surprisingly these are kind of similar to what last year was, or slightly more than what last year percentiles were, at least for verbal, right? And for LRDI, we have the overall 99.90 coming in at 34 marks scale score, and 95 at 18, and then we have 85 at 12. So we can, you guys can see the slide, right? And for quant, we have 99.90 coming in at 33, 95 at 17.86, 85 at 12, right? And this is for the overall. So overall 99.90 plus someone actually no, sorry, I think
This is basically roughly what we are looking at. So basically, just to compare, I think 99 last year was, I think, around 85 or so, 85, 86. Now I think it has definitely gone down quite a lot, especially if you're looking at quant. I think 99 last time was around 35, 34, 35. This time we are expecting 99 to be around 24 to 25. We'll anyways post all of these numbers on our Instagram page. Please do like it there. All the expected percentiles across the 3 different slots and across the overall percentile. We'll post it on Instagram fairly soon. Basically, what we are looking at is only the scale scores. We are not looking at the raw scores, because raw scores get messy. Across different slots, the raw scores will be different. So if you're looking only at the scale scores, this is what we are looking at. Somebody is saying they are not visible, slides are not clear. Yeah, I'll look into it, Soumya. Basically, we'll post all these numbers on our Instagram page. So please do like our Instagram page. We'll post the link for our Instagram page also. But in general, what I would want to tell you is that I know that all of you are looking forward for the response sheet, or at least you want that uncertainty to be out of your mind. That is the reason we did so much analysis. The reason I did analysis is because I want to give a accurate percentile prediction so that people are clear about where they are standing. Then they know whether to apply for IFT or not apply. They also know that, okay, whether they'll get shortlist or not get shortlist. One way or the other, if it is clear in their mind, then the next step will become much more confident. So now, essentially, I want to tell you that focus on that. You have 1 month. 1 month is a lot of time for you to focus on that. Many people I know have messed up their CAT paper. Many people. Okay, it is very unfortunate. But what I'm very impressed with is many of these guys that I personally know and I work with, all of them are now very motivated on that. You have 1 month left. CAT was very uncertain. It was shocking also because of the quant section difficult level. Many people underperformed. But don't worry, you have another chance. That is a completely new paper. Okay, nothing has happened there. So give it, and I most likely we expected to have only 1 slot. So the variation across different slots also won't be there. So essentially use whatever is there in your hands. Use this 30 days, 40 days to make the best use of that. Try to do a good job. We have uploaded, I think, 1 free mock for that also. Take that free mock so that you also are better prepared. There are different strategies that you need to use for SAT. You need to use for ZAT as compared to CAT, because there is no sectional timing, all of those things. So at least start off with a free ZAT mock. Once you take the free ZAT mock, you'll know where you stand. We are also doing a live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. with the ZAT convener. Professor Shukla has accepted our request, and he's joining our live stream tomorrow. So if you have any doubts with respect to ZAT or how to prepare, you can definitely join us tomorrow. It is a live stream at 6 p.m. So we'll look forward to having all of you there tomorrow at 6 p.m. with the ZAT convener. Shrikant, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, that's it. So I think people who are like got good scores in CAT, they can start preparing for their exams and for their GDPI and all. But people who have not done well or feel that they should have scored better but didn't, they should really pack up, and then they should start preparing for that. And you have the other exams coming up, right? So for that, I think you can join in the live session with Professor Shukla tomorrow, and you should also take the previous paper questions, right? So you should also solve the previous paper. So DM is a very difficult and very different section of that. So you should all practice lot more questions of DM, and the previous papers of that are very important for that. And we also have uploaded a free mock for that, so make use of it. And if we are looking for, we have around 5 mocks for that, which are like completely based on the latest pattern, right? So you can enroll for that. But start preparing for that, and it is very important that you do it right away, right now.
Okay, guys, that's it from us. I just want to end off by saying I know many people who haven't done well. Many people are feeling demotivated. But the sign of a champion is somebody who can pick themselves up. So even if you're feeling down, know that you have another chance. And it is very easy to wallow in self-pity, to feel that, okay, it is gone, this is bad, that is bad, it was unexpected, blame somebody else. But still, another very nice, very important examination is still in your hands. So make the best use of the remaining 30 days. Prepare well, work hard. Like Srikanth is saying, go through the previous papers of that. Especially, it will help you in decision making. You can download the PDF for the ZAT previous papers on our website for free. So at least download them and start working on the DM section. That's it, guys. We are looking forward to having all of you tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll have a live stream with the ZAT convener, Professor Shukla. So see you there.
Okay, so I think I'll take some questions from the chat, right? So Archana is asking, will Cracku upload videos on what college to apply? So we have made a post on Instagram regarding what college to apply at different percentiles, right? 90 to 95, and then 85 to 95, and 95 plus percentile. So and again, we'll be making more videos in the future. So do follow our Instagram page. So that is where we post most updates about college and the applications and all. And so Harshvardhan is saying he got 105 in slot 3. Should I focus on GDPA or ZAT? I think 105 is a very good score. You should ideally should be expecting somewhere around 99.85 plus. So I think you should start preparing for GDPA, right? Or I think you should start preparing for GDPA. So if you guys have any more questions, you can post them. We'll take the questions for 5 more minutes. So we made a post on Instagram regarding the interview with Professor Shukla tomorrow, right? And if you have any queries that you want to ask the faculty, the ZAT convener, you can directly post it on there, and we'll take it up with Mr. Professor Shukla. So do Cracku help in GDPA prep? So if you are scoring very good, right? So do reach out to us. We don't have a very formal section on GDPA, but we'll be helping you with your how to get started with your interviews and how to start your preparation. But we don't have a formal paid course for GDPA. So Mukund is asking update the score calculator based on the latest number of updates, right? So Mukund, we have updated the score calculator based on around 50,000 responses. You can check it out now. So for any calls related things, right? So we have a CAT score calculator for IIMA call predictor on the website. So you can go to that, enter your profile, like the percentiles that you're getting, expected percentiles that you're getting on each one, and then the your profile, like your 10th, 12th, and academic profiles. Then you'll get a clear-cut idea on what calls that you can expect at your percentiles. So okay, guys, I think I'm just going through to see if there are any other questions that you have missed. Looks like there aren't. Okay, then thank you guys for tuning, and come back for the live session tomorrow at 6 p.m.